Hi, I'm Regina Young. I'm the Outreach and Injury Prevention Coordinator with the Erlanger Trauma Services, and I'm here today with the Chattanooga Fire Department and my good friend Captain Hartung. We want to talk about National Burn Awareness Week. Today we're going to talk about some of the electrical concerns you may have in your home and some of the things that can cause fire, which of course will lead to burns, and I'll let Captain Hartung take that away.
These are some practices we've seen out in the community when we've gone into homes and we want people to be safe. We have an overloaded outlet with an extension cord that runs under an area rug, and if that area rug was to abrade the insulation of the extension cord, it could catch fire and you wouldn't even know it. Another thing, an extension cord is to be used in a temporary use only. It is not to be used for permanent wiring. We also have a space heater with a broom sitting in front of it. The broom is too close to the space heater. Space heaters, if they are being utilized, need to have 3 foot of clearance in all directions. When you get done with the extension cord, make sure that you unplug it. Do not leave extension cords plugged in. That is unsafe. Same thing with our iron. Once we get done using our iron, we want to unplug it as well, because if the heating element fails in this, it's going to fail in the on position. We do not want to use a duplexer in our outlet. The outlet has 2 holes in it for a reason. Only 2 things should be plugged in at a time, not overloaded. If you overload your outlet, it could short circuit. If it does short circuit, you need to isolate the power by disconnecting it at the breaker box. Chattanooga Fire Department wants you to be aware of fire safety in the bedroom. If you do sleep with your door closed and you are experiencing a smoke detector activation, or the smoke detector goes off in your house, do not immediately open the door. Feel the door from the top all the way down to the bottom. If it is hot, do not open it. If you open it, you're inviting that smoke into your bedroom. Instead, seal the bottom of the door with a blanket, get to the window, break it if you have to, open it, scream for help. Fire department will go into rescue mode and retrieve you from that window.
And I want to talk about what happens when somebody receives a burn. Certainly, it's super important that if you are in a fire, if you get struck by lightning or you have an electrical burn, we want to remove that person from that burning process, but only if it's safe. So you may have to isolate the power from the breaker box and make sure that electricity to the appliance is off. You may have an entrance and an exit wound from the electricity, and if there's life-threatening bleeding, you'll have to control it. We want to check and see if somebody's breathing, if they have a pulse. If not, then you'll have to start CPR. All of these require that you initiate the 911 process and get fire and rescue on the way to help treat you. If you have deep tissue burns, you certainly can treat them by applying a cool, wet cloth. We avoid any petroleum products, so no Vaseline, no Neosporin, no butter. All that does is make the burn worse. Cover it with a clean, wet cloth and then transport to the hospital. The other thing we have to think about are organ injuries. When electricity passes through your body, it follows the path of least resistance, so that means that it can electrify your heart. You can have burns to your lungs, not only from electricity, but the fire. You can have inhalation burns, and you get swelling at a later date. If the person's well enough, if they have rings on, if they have a belt, anything that's constricting, go ahead and get that off as long as it's safe to do so. That way, if swelling occurs, they won't have additional injury from those items. So those are just a few things I want you to remember about Burn Awareness Week.